Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it was sent to me by one of our dear brother, and the message that he sent to me, it reads like this. Hello, Brother Nanshi, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? I want to confess to you the things that I did, how I sacrificed my wife as well as my child, and how I made this other woman who is more like a wife to me. So this woman, when she started running mad, I then used the charms that were given to me to call her from Zim, and she walked on foot from Zim and she came here to Johannesburg where I am staying. So this woman, she usually goes around Joburg CBD just running mad and eating from the dustbins. Then whenever she wants to come to my place, I was told by this traditional healer who gave me these charms that I should allow her to come and express herself to me. So she's more like my wife, and I am using her to make money. So this is how I became a ritualist. I came here to South Africa and I was now working as a plumber. I can say that during those days before I had gotten married, I can say that life was really great. I did not have any problems at all. It then happened that I got married, and I got married to my wife who was older than I was. So she started to give me a lot of pressure because she was insecure. She thought that maybe I was going to dump her, and she loved me. So after she had given birth to our child, she then kept on pressurizing me, and she said that I was supposed to marry her. So Brother Nashi, I then agreed. This was after I had started my small business, because my brother back home in Zim had said that if you can get some building material, and if you can get those building materials here, you are going to make a lot of money. So I then started my hardware back home in Zim, whereby I had two workers of mine who were selling in my shop. So what I would do, me and my wife here in Johannesburg, we would go to the hardwares, then we would buy some building materials, then we would get some truck drivers who would transport our stock back to Zim. And at least I can say that we were making a lot of money. So after me and my wife had returned back to Zim, the moment that I went to pay for her bride price, that was when I realized that there was someone who had taken the money that I had paid for her bride price, and that person, he had cast the spirit of bad luck on that money, because when we returned back to South Africa, life was very difficult. Indeed, life was difficult. So at that time, there was this other Indian man that I was also working with. So this Indian man, what he does is that he opens some hardware, and he is always looking for people to partner with. So I became his partner, because he said that there is this other place, it is in the villages, and there was no hardware in that area. So people had to travel for a very long distance if they wanted to buy cement and other building material. So I became his partner, and then I went to this other traditional healer. When I went to that traditional healer, that was when I met a man who was from Zim. And this guy, when I saw him, when I looked at his car, the car was just beautiful. And I was amazed that this guy, he had managed to make so much money here in South Africa. And I thought of linking up with him. And he told me that the only reason as to why he was at that traditional healer's place, it was because he just wanted to thank that traditional healer. I asked him why he wanted to thank that traditional healer. He said that back home in Zim, his relatives, they were now suspicious because they knew that he was using some charms that were giving him money. So it was blood money. So that traditional healer had assisted him to block his relatives in the spirit, so that whenever they would go and consult, they won't be told the truth. So after he had told me all of this, and I then asked him if it was possible for him to show me that same healer who had assisted him and giving him the money-making rituals. And I said, okay. So I then asked him if it was possible for him to take me to that same traditional healer who had helped him to get rich like the way that he was. He said that as for his charms that he uses for his blood money making rituals, he has to renew them constantly. He said that the next trip that he was going to take, going to Mozambique, then I should partner with him and we should go together. So me and him, we went to this other popular restaurant. It is called Mac and Bean. We went to that restaurant, and that was when we had our meeting whilst we were there. So he then promised me that he was going to take me to Mozambique. So he did. We then went to Mozambique. When we went to Mozambique, I was then given this other mirror when we were in the consultation room. So this was a magic mirror, and indeed, magically, my wife then appeared in the mirror as well as my child. So after my wife had appeared in the mirror, that was when the traditional healer gave me a needle, and I was told that I had to stab my wife until she died. So I then chose to stab my wife on her neck area, and I kept on stabbing her until there was blood all over that mirror as well as my child. That is how my wife passed away, but she did not die instantly. When I returned back to South Africa, my wife then started complaining. She was always having these back problems. When I took her to the hospital, and it was said that her womb was supposed to be removed, but my brother, since she was being followed by the spirit of death, the more that I took her to the hospital, the more that she was not attended by the doctors or the nurses. So her relatives back home in Zim said that she was supposed to return back to Zim because there was this other watery discharge that the doctors had said that since her womb was going bad, the watery discharge was coming out of her womb. So I took her back to her relatives. My brother, when my wife passed away, you could not even look at her twice because she also had developed breast cancer. It was as if there was something like some worms that were eating her breast from the inside. That is what happened by the time that my wife passed away. After my wife had passed away, then our child followed. As for me, I kept on making my money. It then happened that I started to see the ghost of my wife. And on that day, I had returned back from work, and I felt so sleepy the moment that I arrived at the place where I was staying. So I went to bed and I said, I'll bath later, and then I will eat out after I would have bathed myself. So when I just fell fast asleep, so the moment that I fell fast asleep, that was when I saw my wife. She walked into my bedroom and she was angry. She had blood all over her neck area at the same spot where I had stabbed her. And she asked me, and she spoke with me, and she said, why did you kill me? What did I do to you that made you to kill me? Why did you kill our child? And I saw that she was holding our child in her arms, and our child was missing his body parts, and then she just disappeared. After I had seen the ghost of my wife, I then thought of contacting that traditional healer, and he told me that I was supposed to sacrifice that other girl who was waiting for me. So when I had gone to Mozambique, I had been given this other soap. This soap, it just looks like Lifebuoy. That soap that is called Lifebuoy, and it is black in color. And this soap that I was given in Mozambique, it smells a lot. There is this other soap that they sell here in South Africa. It is called Pearl, but in Zim we call it Geisha. So it smells a lot. That is the type of a soap that I was given when I was in Mozambique by that traditional healer. So that traditional healer told me that whenever I would see the spirit of my wife, I was supposed to show her that soap. So the smell was going to chase her spirit away. So that is what I did. Then this traditional healer told me that it was time for the sacrifice to be done. What I was supposed to do is I had to quickly return back to Zim, and I was supposed to give that woman who was working for me the soap so that she can bath with that soap. The moment that she will be bathing with that soap, that was when she was going to start to lose her mind. So I then bought some expensive clothes for her and some groceries that I wanted her to give to her parents. I then returned back home and I spoke with her and I told her that I wanted to give her some leave days so that she can go and visit her parents. And then I told her that there was this other soap that I had brought with me from South Africa, and I told her that I wanted us to start selling that soap. So I just wanted her to go and bath herself with that soap so that she can tell me if I was supposed to buy this soap so that we can sell it in Zim. So she went and she took a bath, and when she came back she was like, yo, if you are going to buy this soap with the way that it smells in bulk, then you have to know that we are going to have then she said that if you are going to do that, then we are not going to sell anything because this soap, it is very smelly. But I was happy because she had bathed herself with that soap. I then threw the soap away and I sent her on her way because I did not want her to run mad in our village, because I come from a village which is in Gutu. So she then went to her parents' house and I quickly left Zim for South Africa. When I returned back to South Africa, that was when she started to run mad. And then I called her using the charms, because the traditional healer told me that I was supposed to call her to keep her safe here in South Africa, because her relatives are not supposed to know that she is running mad. Otherwise, they were going to get her some assistance visiting a traditional healer, and I was going to get exposed. So I called her using the charms that the healer gave me. So she walked, Brother Nashi, from Gutu in Masvingo, and she came to South Africa. When she came here, I greeted her and I showed her so much love, and I slept with her, because that traditional healer told me that whenever she wants to sleep with me, I should not look at her with disgust, but I should look at her with so much love, and I have to show her all the love that I show to the other South African women that I am dating. So the women that I am dating, I have no mercy for them, because all that they want is money from me, but they don't know that for me to get the money that they would want me to give to them, I have to suffer. I have to sleep with this mad woman, and I had to sacrifice my wife and my child. So whenever these women come to me and when they tell me that they want me to give them my money, I don't feel sorry for them at all. Even if the healer tells me to give them bad luck when I will be sleeping with them, I don't even feel sorry for them, because no one feels sorry for me. Dear listeners, there was a message that was sent to me by our dear brother right there. That was the translation of the message that was sent to me, hoping that you were able to understand that translation. Strange things do happen in this world. pamapeto